It started like any other dull Tuesday night in Dalton, Illinois. A routine board meeting. It's a kind of civic ritual so quiet you forget it even happened. Usually these nights are marked by yawns, clock watching, and trustees quietly flipping through agendas no one in the room actually reads. Not this one. No, this meeting was different. The second Tiffany Henyard walked in alone, without trustees, without quorum, without any pretense of actual governance, everything shifted. What should have been a civic meeting turned into a one-woman spectacle. A performance, a circus, chaos on display. She grabbed the microphone, locked her gaze into the lens, and declared, "This is not a Q&A. This is my statement." It didn't sound like the words of a mayor. It sounded like the opening lines of a ringmaster, kicking off a circus nobody in Dalton signed up for. But here's the thing, she wasn't speaking to the room. She wasn't speaking to the empty chairs. She wasn't speaking to Dalton residents. She was speaking to the internet, to the headlines, to the live stream. This wasn't about leading Dalton. It was about controlling the narrative. Loud, arrogant, defiant. But while Tiffany was busy performing for the cameras, the real drama wasn't outside. It wasn't protesters, it wasn't angry residents, it wasn't reporters. The true explosion came from inside her own circle. Someone close, enough to know where the skeletons were buried, finally decided to dig them up. A whistleblower, reportedly one of her own, leaked footage that spread like gasoline on fire. Within hours, the video was viral. The commentators called it the biggest political betrayal of the year. Others said it was karma, long overdue and richly deserved. Whatever you called it, the damage was nuclear. For years, Tiffany surrounded herself with a wall of yes-men and loyalist people who would defend her no matter what, who would clap even when she wasn't making sense, who would spin her failures into victories with a straight face. But now that wall of blind loyalty is crumbling, and those cracks, they didn't appear overnight. They've been there for months. Tiffany's been playing political chess, but every move screams desperation. She appointed her own village administrator, an attorney, without board approval. She dragged her personal lawyer into canceled meetings just to scold trustees for not showing up. These weren't power moves. They were panic moves. Chaotic, sloppy, borderline illegal. Every step exposed her weakness instead of her strength. And just when it looked like her recklessness couldn't get worse, the Illinois Attorney General stepped in. Kwame Raoul's office ruled that Dalton had violated the Open Meetings Act not once, but twice, June and July meetings, where residents found locked doors, stripped-out seating, and literal barriers to participation. Dalton taxpayers barred from their own government. A note that surprise didn't even exist until after the fact. The Attorney General wasn't buying it. They called it exactly what it was: ridiculous, overblown, and an abuse of power. But this is Tiffany's pattern. Overreach, overspend, overreact, always. And speaking of overspending, hold on to your seat. After months of stonewalling, investigators finally cracked open Thornton Township's credit card records. What they found was outrageous. In just 5 months, Tiffany racked up more than $67,000 in travel on the township's card. Add what? She'll build Dalton, and the total shoots past $100,000. 100 grand? On what? Lavish hotels? First-class flights? Fine dining? Her excuse? Conference attendance? As if taxpayer money is her personal monopoly cash. In Tiffany's version of public service, Luxury isn't a perk, it's the job. But here's where it gets even messier. Inner circle. Enter Keith Freeman, her former right-hand man. Freeman was everywhere. Every meeting, every email, every shady decision. He knew it all. So when whispers spread that Freeman might be cooperating with federal investigators, Tiffany panicked. She tried to fire him, but the board never approved it, which meant legally. Freeman was still administrator, still in power, still dangerous. Rumors swirled. Freeman had flipped. He had receipts, real ones. Tiffany scrambled to cut him loose, but like everything she touches, it blew up in her face. Freeman fought back. Hard. And then the lawsuits started rolling in. One employee claimed she was fired for refusing to be a yes woman. Another accused Henyard of sabotaging his business out of pure spite. Then came Dwayne Thrash, the former head of maintenance, suing for constitutional violations after refusing to help Tiffany replace a school board attorney with someone more loyal. See the pattern? The second you question her, you're out fired, silenced, canceled. That's why Dalton's government today looks less like a village hall and more like a revolving door of subpoenas, investigations, and courtroom drama. And even her allies, they've had enough. Take Carmen Carroll, once a loyal teammate, now a whistleblower. She went public with both barrels. She accused Tiffany of being unethical and predatory from day one, manipulating vendors, manipulating employees, manipulating residents, all to create a fake image of success. A fraud, a scam, built on taxpayer dollars. And that illusion is cracking fast. Because Tiffany Henyard today, she's not a leader. She's not a mayor. She's a cautionary tale unraveling in real time. Her grip on power is slipping. The lawsuits are multiplying. The receipts keep stacking. And every single day, more insiders are stepping forward. This isn't over. Not even close. In fact, it's just getting started. If there's one name Tiffany Henyard can't shake in the wreckage of her spiraling empire, it's Keith Freeman. He wasn't just her assistant. He was her fixer, her enforcer, her shadow in every shady deal. He sat in the rooms, heard the whispers. He handled the files. So when word spread that Freeman might be talking to the FBI, panic ripped through Henyard's camp. And in classic Tiffany fashion, she tried to cut him off fast, without board approval. Right? But that move blew up because, on paper, Freeman was still administrator, which meant one thing: access. Access to systems, to receipts, to evidence you can't bury with a press release. And here's the kicker: Freeman isn't clean either. He's under federal investigation himself for bankruptcy, fraud, and retaliation. But when Tiffany tossed him under the bus, his loyalty snapped. He flipped too, and now insiders say he's sitting on documents that don't just gossip, they indict. And with Freeman fighting back, the lawsuits kept pouring in. Wrongful terminations, retaliation, abuse of power, pattern too loud to ignore. But the real shockwave came from insider circle Carmen Carroll. She broke ranks and went public. No anonymity, no filters. She accused Henyard of weaponizing employees, vendors, even residents, to fake a narrative of power. She didn't hedge. She dropped receipts. And Henyard's response? Not a defense. Not evidence, just mockery. She branded her line Carroll, turning whistleblowing into a playground insult. But in doing that, she accidentally confirmed she was in the room, because if Carroll was lying, why admit the meetings even happened? Then came the unfiltered truth. At a heated board meeting, a resident stood up and said it plain: the residents already know you're stealing from them. That's when Tiffany broke completely. She claimed she was sent by God. She called herself rare, chosen, divine. It wasn't leadership, it was delusion. It's like watching someone throw a standing ovation for themselves in an empty theater. Here's the bottom line: this isn't just a scandal, it's a collapse. Federal investigators are circling. Lawsuits are piling up. Lies are fleeing. And Tiffany? She's still gripping the mic. Still putting on the same tired show, convinced volume can drown out reality. But it can't. The empire is crumbling. The so-called super mayor is out of gas. The only question left is, does Tiffany Henyard crash here? Or is the most devastating twist still waiting to come?